Здравствуйте. Hello, everybody. So here we go, our second video in this new era of making videos for this channel, Geopolitical Astrology, a work that I've been doing for much longer, but starting the regular videos. So today I say hello to you from St. Petersburg, Russia. And we're going to talk about the month of October. I'm going to just bring some observations about this month because it is a strong month. It's an important month, which, I mean, these days, because we are in the middle of the transition of the world system, pretty much every month is significant, as we know. No, things develop so fast and so intensely, and so many significant things happen. But this is also a significant month. We do have, astrologically speaking, we do have the eclipse season, the second eclipse season of 2023. And we do have today, the 3rd of October, the ingress, we just had the ingress of Black Moon Lilith into Virgo. That is a 9-month period of this transit of Black Moon Lilith in Virgo. It's very, very important. So this is a major highlight for this month. Then comes the eclipse season. And just before the eclipse season, which will be between the 14th of October and the 28th of October, the sharp concentration, the in-between eclipses period. But we actually do consider, you know, as we approach the eclipse season specifically, it's like we're getting there, you know, it's eclipses are coming. So for sure, some days before we do have them operating, and also a few days later, and they are actually valid for the things that they somehow highlight, do highlight something for the next 6-month period until the next eclipse season. Okay, but of course, during this concentration, it is a very peculiar moment. In the eclipse season, the sharply between eclipses period is a moment for the unexpected, for the unprecedented, or simply for, it does open the possibility of breakthroughs, of going beyond patterns, but it's also a moment of strangeness, of dealing with the strangeness of things as well. So it's more of a peculiar time that stirs up atavic memories and sensations. So they are always a little bit peculiar. So we are having this second season. We do have 2 seasons a year, so it's I mean, they are peculiar, but they do happen twice a year, and some seasons are stronger than others. This one, the issue with this one is really what goes on around it, okay? Because around it, what happens is just before the eclipse season, as I was saying before, we do have Pluto going direct, Pluto going to direct motion. That happens once a year, but it's always a moment that the Plutonic energy is intensified and to go forward, you know, to go into direct motion. So it's very, it's charged and it's very potent. And this happens just before the solar eclipse. So just before the new moon, which will be also a solar eclipse. So it's when this period of the dark moon, in the sense that, you know, the moon is not full, it's dark in that sense. So it's really, if we walk at night, you know, in the countryside, for instance, it's much darker than if you have a full moon where everything is illuminated. No, so it's the dark period just before new moon and an eclipse. And then we have Pluto going direct. And not only that, Pluto goes direct in a square to Mars. And that's a very, it's a harsh square. It's a harsh square. Always Mars and Pluto is not really nice. It's something to be very careful with. It's that's going to happen between the 9th and the 11th of October. That's a delicate period, okay, because we do have that going on. We have Pluto going direct, which can be good also, you know, because it's like, it's energy, it's empowering, but it can also be destructive, especially when it is in a square to Mars. This is a very belligerent aspect, although Mars is in Libra, which is the diplomacy sign, okay? But that speaks also of either passive-aggressive or somehow, you know, things that may have a certain appearance of not being so straightforwardly belligerent, but actually being pretty harsh, okay? So that's the issue then with Mars in Libra in a square to Pluto when Pluto is going direct. So they square on the 9th, then on the 11th, Pluto goes direct. Actually, the period that they are in a square is between the 7th and the 10th of October. The exact is on the 9th. And precisely those days between the 9th and the 11th, exact on the 10th, Venus is going to be opposite Saturn. Okay, so this is just to say that this period is somewhat delicate, let's say, okay, a little more dangerous. Doesn't mean that good things cannot happen in people's lives, obviously, but it is a more tricky moment in the collective. And the thing is to have to draw from this strategic clarity that has been brought to us by the full moon of in opposition to activating the Pallas Sun conjunction by opposition, okay? Because also Mercury is going to conjunct Pallas, the strategic advisor, between the 11th and 13th. So this is just to say that, you know, you got to be tuned to this strategic clarity to cross through the dangers of the period. And not only that, not only Pluto is going direct in a square to Mars, but Pluto is exactly on the degree, not the minutes, but the degree of the United States Pluto. So this is really reactivation of the Pluto return of the United States, which speaks of the collapse of the empire, which is in process as an empire. Okay, I'm not speaking of the nation, but I'm speaking of the empire as such. So, but the thing is, as we are experiencing it, precisely because of the collapse, the beast is more furious and rather daring, yeah, if it wasn't already enough, yeah, but it's so it is more dangerous during this time. Additionally, what do we have? It's not all bad. It's not all bad, because we do have the unfoldings of the brilliant Venus star point, Venus Black Moon star point in Leo that occurred in August, as I said previously. So this is unfolding, okay? So very good things in respect to people's lives, to relations, okay? To relations, to relationships, to talents, to the flowering of very interesting things. But in parallel to some serious dangers, okay? So I'm speaking about the dangers now. And additionally to what I've already mentioned, we have the issue of Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, which is reinforced by the fact that she will be opposing Saturn this month too. So she entered Virgo today. She's in Virgo now, which I will explain what it's about essentially. But let me just first explain a little bit of the astrological dynamic just to situate it. So she will be opposite Saturn in Pisces. Pretty much like she enters and now she's applying to this opposition to Saturn. And then comes Venus. Then comes Venus into Virgo 2 next. She's still in Leo, but she will also go into Virgo and also oppose Saturn, okay? So this is like this reinforcement of the issue between Virgo and Pisces, this opposition. Well, this very, very much relates to the Black Moon Neptune trilogy, Black Moon Neptune spell trilogy that I have been writing. This is a very long, deep research that I've been doing. And you can read it on my website. The first pieces are already published there. And the first episode, which is presented in 3 parts, speaks about this specific position, the very first piece, the first part of the first episode, because it's just so much that I had to it unfolded into 3 episodes and then 3 parts to the episode. So and there you get the full explanation on what this means, but fundamentally, to give you the essential information, it relates to something that I'll have to be now very careful to find a way to talk about it, because it's something that the YouTube platform is not very fond of, that we would speak about that. So it's about the NAZIs, to use the Durand's way of addressing the issue, okay? So it's very much related to that. And it's also the position of the United States Black Moon. I explained that with many details in my writings. And I will also make a video addressing that more deeply. But this is to mention it in this month because it's entering now, okay? So it is becoming more explicit that this is a very, very serious issue, like very serious, not just, oh yes, it's a horrible thing, and oh yeah, it's an issue in the world. No, it's a very serious issue at this very moment in time, seriously so. Because it did not go away, as I also explain, go into and present data on this, how the NAZIs did not actually, you know, they did not evaporate, they did not disappear, but they went actually into power positions in the West, and they are in power. They are in power. They have a lot of power in the Western societies right now, so Western leaderships. They are in positions of power, and this is a very serious issue. And now that the Black Moon is in Virgo, this becomes more evident and even more of a serious issue. And not only that, next year, and this is something that is going to be presented into more details in the second episode of the Black Moon Neptune spell trilogy. which addresses NATO in more detail. And the thing is that whilst being in Virgo, the Black Moon is going to do the Black Moon Lilith return of the United States. It is going to conjunct the midheaven and the Neptune of the United States. It is going to oppose the Black Moon Lilith of NATO. And it is going to oppose Neptune in transit. So this is super, super serious. This occurs in the between Mars and June. We have several moments before that as well, right now in October. But that's also a moment, okay, next year that's very important in this regard for us to be aware of. And this is serious stuff. This is very serious stuff, because NATO was actually made by them as well, by NAZIs as well, greatly so. So it's NATO's very DNA, really. It's part of the DNA in a very strong, significant part. And this is going to become more evident. There are those of us that are aware of this fact, but it's going to become more evident. It's going to become more evident. It is becoming, we can perceive, yeah, because that's the thing. It does not surprise me that it's already becoming a little more evident. Yeah, it has become quite evident in Canada recently. And not only that, and in my writings, I do address in more details. I will keep it a little more concise here in this video, so it's not too long. But we will have a specific video addressing the Black Moon Lilith, Black Moon Neptune spell trilogy, okay, in more details. But I do need to mention this because this transit begins now. It is activated by the opposition to Saturn. Then comes also Venus, and she will conjunct Black Moon, opposing Saturn. So it's this issue is also activated. And then if we combine the fact that there are those other tensions that I mentioned, the US Pluto return being activated in a square, in a Mars square, yeah, and Pluto going direct, so right on that degree. So this speaks of the dangers of this period, okay? Even if not always so upfront. In some ways it is upfront, but there are also the not so obvious things that could be also in the making. And one important issue to mention in regards to Black Moon Lilith transiting in Virgo is the health dystopia, the risk of more mayhems. I mean, they definitely are trying to do something, and they've been warning and preparing, and we know this. But at the same time, there is resistance to it, and they don't always get things running the way they wish, yeah. And I'm gonna have to find a way to express these things on YouTube. Okay, so bear with me. I'm speaking in a way that for people that are more aware of it is easier to understand, but I will try and find ways to address it in a way, you know, that we can also use this platform. Okay, so and that it can be clear to even to people that perhaps are not so aware of this issue, this topic issue, okay, related to health that we went through, that we had the pandemic and so on. Yeah. So trying to avoid the words that could, the terms that could perhaps hinder, but I'm gonna have to find out how this works here. So yeah, so then the thing is that this is also a dangerous issue, something also to shed light on, because for sure something is in the making, no doubt that something is in the making. What they will accomplish, well, it also depends on the resistance they meet by this rhizomatic resistance around the world. So but this is an issue. So biowarfare is a serious issue right now. Okay, a very serious issue. And it has been for some time, but yes, this is a crucial moment to be very much aware of it and not let that be the means to again try and prevent people from living, basically. Yeah. And because why do I say this? Also because it's very important to keep the life force pulsating in the world. This is so very important when we go through such challenges. Not that it's going to be the same, no, but they will try to do some more trouble in that regard. So we better be aware so that we can prevent it to the best of our abilities as a collective that somehow resists. Yeah. So these are the serious issues to warn about with this position. And it's super important also, it's a recommendation really when Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo, to the other side of the coin is to actually enhance our health, to somehow refine how we own our health, how we care for ourselves, and so this is a recommendation, okay, for Black Moon Lilith. And then it can be very good. It can be actually very good and healing, but it depends on what we tap into while this transit occurs. But it does highlight the issue of health, okay? It's a call for us to have like good care for our bodies, for our health. Which does not mean going into paranoias at all, quite the opposite. But to actually just really care for ourselves. And so, yeah, and then on a brighter note, issues related to Venus are really unfolding somehow. The good things that have been inspired or that have begun, or connections between people, whichever kind of, be it personal relations, be it work connections, but be it diplomacy, okay? For diplomacy, this is a very interesting moment, actually, very interesting moment. Diplomatic affairs have been going through, hell, pretty much, in some moments of this year. Of course, not just this year, but this year, yes, there were some pretty tough moments, but also some very transformative moments, some very precious moments, some breakthroughs. And this keeps on unfolding now with this Venusian flourishing, yeah, that goes on. So this is something really nice. And especially because she's still in a conjunction to Juno, the asteroid of legitimacy and partnerships. And they are both right now in trine to the North Node in Aries. So this is really good. This is like good connections that put you forward, you know, that put us forward, that somehow open the connections that open the path ahead, and that can go into the future and open new horizons. So this is quite nice. And on the 21st of October, we also have Sun squaring Pluto. And it's still on, with Pluto being on degree 27 of Capricorn, which is the degree of the United States, Pluto. So another moment of this activation. We do have Venus and Jupiter in a trine. This is really nice. So again, you see, things are good for Venus, basically. So the good connections, this is where it's at, basically, to nurture the good connections that somehow allow for another dimension, for a more nourishing dimension, so we can better cross the challenges. And not only the connections, but the connections to ourselves and to arts, to beauty, to things that are nourishing, and to draw some good energy and nourishment from these things. Okay, so this is yes, these are the considerations for this moment. We do have also Mars right now. This is now exact on the 5th of October. Mars is in a very good connection to Venus. This is quite nice. They are in a very harmonious kind, not really getting into an exact, but like, you know, just flowing along in a harmonious vibe between them. This is nice. This is nice for relationships again. And the detail is that, yeah, Mars is now crossing the South Node. This is exact on the 5th of October, and this is, it does favor diplomacy. It does not favor harsh confrontation. It favors diplomacy. And at the same time, it does stir up some collective memories, which then again connects to those nasty issues of NAZIs as well. Okay, so yeah, so we better be aware of that, and at the same time connect to Venus and let she take us, connect us to this higher dimension, to good connections that allow for a good resistance, and so that we prevail through the challenges. So that's it. That's it for now. And I'm still getting used to this, but I hope this can be useful to you, to everybody. And I see you in the next video. So, до свидания.